The concept of the wild woman is not merely a romanticized notion of untamed nature. Within the framework of Carl Jung's analytical psychology, it represents a profound and vital archetype residing in the collective unconscious. An archetype for Jung is a universal, archaic pattern and image that derives from the collective unconscious and is the psychic counterpart of instinct. It is an inherited predisposition to respond to the world in certain ways, shaping our experiences and behaviors. The wild woman archetype, though popularized by Clarissa Pinkola Estes, is deeply rooted in Jungian principles, embodying the primal, instinctual, and deeply intuitive aspects of the feminine psyche that have often been suppressed or forgotten by modern civilized societies. At its core, the wild woman archetype is the embodiment of instinct. This is not instinct in a crude, uncontrolled sense, but rather the deep, innate knowing that guides animals in nature, a wisdom that operates beyond rational thought. For humans, this instinct connects us to our fundamental drives for survival, creativity, and authentic expression. It is the inner voice that knows what is truly nourishing, what is dangerous, and what is essential for our well-being. In patriarchal cultures, women have often been taught to override their instincts in favor of societal expectations, logic, or the needs of others. The wild woman calls us back to this primal wisdom, urging us to trust our gut feelings and bodily sensations as legitimate sources of guidance. Closely linked to instinct is intuition. The wild woman is the wellspring of intuitive knowledge, the ability to grasp truths directly, without conscious reasoning. This is the knowing without knowing how you know, a powerful form of perception that operates through symbols, dreams, and subtle energetic cues. In a world that prioritizes linear thought and empirical evidence, intuition has often been dismissed, especially in women. Reconnecting with the wild woman means honoring and cultivating this intuitive faculty, allowing it to inform decisions, guide relationships, and unlock creative potential. It is the capacity to perceive the deeper patterns and meanings beneath the surface of everyday life. Furthermore, the wild woman archetype represents the primal feminine in its untamed, cyclical, and fertile aspects. She is connected to the rhythms of nature, the waxing and waning of the moon, the changing seasons, the cycles of birth, death, and renewal. Unlike the domesticated or idealized feminine often presented by society, the wild woman embraces all facets of her nature, including her power, her passion, her shadows, and her capacity for both creation and necessary destruction. She is not confined by societal expectations of beauty or behavior. Her beauty lies in her authenticity, her raw vitality, and her connection to the life force itself. This primal connection grounds women, providing a sense of belonging to something ancient and enduring beyond temporary social roles. In essence, defining the wild woman archetype is about recognizing an inner archetypal force that champions authenticity, instinctual wisdom, and unbridled creativity. She is the voice that reminds women of their inherent power, their deep connection to the earth and their own bodies, and their right to live fully and passionately, unburdened by societal constraints. She is not a literal wild person, but an inner guide that calls for a return to one's essential, untamed nature for psychological wholeness and vitality. The wild woman archetype isn't merely a theoretical construct. Her unlocking brings forth profound healing capacities, particularly for women who have felt disconnected from their deepest selves due to societal conditioning or personal trauma. Reconnecting with this potent inner force can lead to a remarkable surge of vitality, creativity, and emotional authenticity, acting as a powerful antidote to the psychic wounds inflicted by repression. One of the primary healing gifts of the wild woman is the reclamation of vitality. In modern life, many women experience a pervasive sense of fatigue, burnout, or a dullness of spirit. This can often stem from living out of sync with their natural rhythms, constantly pushing themselves to meet external demands while ignoring internal signals. The wild woman archetype encourages a return to an instinctual way of being, where energy is replenished through communion with nature, honoring bodily needs and following the natural ebbs and flows of one's own energy cycles. This reconnection to primal energy rejuvenates the spirit and body, replacing exhaustion with a vibrant, enduring life force. It's about remembering how to truly live with full sensorial engagement and joy, rather than just endure. Parallel to this surge in vitality is an explosion of creativity. The wild woman is inherently a creative force, the wellspring of original thought, spontaneous expression, and imaginative power. When women are disconnected from this archetype, their creative impulses can become stifled, leading to feelings of barrenness, frustration, or a sense that life lacks meaning. Reclaiming the wild woman means giving voice to the inner artist, storyteller, dancer, or innovator. It encourages breaking free from perfectionism and self-censorship, allowing raw, authentic expression to flow. This creativity isn't confined to artistic pursuits. It extends to how a woman problem solves, nurtures relationships, designs her life, and brings unique solutions to the world. It's a healing balm for the soul, affirming one's innate capacity to bring something new into existence. Perhaps the most significant healing aspect is the return to emotional authenticity. For generations, women have been conditioned to suppress unacceptable emotions like anger, rage, wild joy, or intense sorrow, often being told to be nice, polite, or agreeable. This repression leads to emotional numbness, passive aggressiveness, or sudden, overwhelming outbursts. The wild woman archetype demands that all emotions be felt and acknowledged as valid expressions of life. She teaches women to trust their emotional intelligence, to set boundaries with courage, and to express their true feelings without apology. This journey towards authenticity heals the psychic split between what one feels and what one presents to the world, leading to profound inner peace and integrity. It's about becoming truly present in one's own emotional landscape, fostering a deeper self-knowledge and stronger, more honest relationships. In essence, unlocking the wild woman within is a deep act of self-care and profound healing. It addresses psychic wounds by re-establishing a lost connection to one's instinctual nature, vital energy, and unbridled creative spirit. By reclaiming these inherent aspects of the feminine psyche, women can shed layers of societal conditioning and emerge as more vibrant, creative, and authentically themselves, leading to a richer, more fulfilling life aligned with their deepest truth. While the wild woman within offers immense healing potential, her archetype also embodies a crucial, destructive aspect. It's vital to clarify that this destruction isn't malicious, evil, or chaotic for its own sake. Instead, it is transformative, purposeful, and necessary for growth, akin to how a forest fire clears out dead wood to allow new life to flourish, or how a harsh winter prepares the ground for spring. This aspect of the wild woman acts as a powerful force for breaking down old structures, false personas, oppressive societal conditioning, and unhealthy relationship patterns that stifle the authentic self. For many women, years of conforming to external expectations, suppressing their true feelings, or enduring stagnant situations lead to a buildup of psychic debris. This can manifest as resentment, stagnation, or a profound sense of being trapped. The wild woman's destructive energy serves as an internal force that says, "No more." She fosters the courage to dismantle what no longer serves one's highest good. This might involve ending a toxic relationship, leaving an unfulfilling job, setting fierce boundaries with demanding family members, or shedding long-held beliefs about who one should be. These acts, though often perceived as disruptive or destructive by others, and sometimes by the conscious ego, are absolutely essential for liberation and authentic living. This destruction can manifest as periods of necessary chaos in a woman's life. When old systems break down, there's often a phase of uncertainty, discomfort, and emotional upheaval. This isn't a sign of failure, but a natural part of profound transformation. The wild woman empowers women to withstand this chaos, to trust the process of dismantling, and to see it as a prelude to rebuilding on more authentic foundations. She provides the inner strength to tolerate the discomfort of change and the unknown, understanding that stagnation is far more detrimental than temporary disarray. Furthermore, this destructive aspect is closely linked to sacred rage. For a long time, anger in women has been pathologized or suppressed. However, the wild woman archetype reclaims rage as a legitimate and powerful emotion that signals boundaries have been violated or that injustice is present. It's a clean, clarifying fire that burns away illusion and empowers a woman to say a resounding no to what diminishes her. This isn't destructive in a reckless way, but in a way that creates necessary space for her to reclaim her power and integrity. Without the capacity for this kind of destruction, women can remain trapped in patterns of self-sacrifice, resentment, and passive aggression. The destructive impulse of the wild woman also targets the false persona, the socially acceptable mask that a woman wears to navigate the world. This mask, while serving a purpose, often conceals vast parts of her true self. The wild woman encourages the dismantling of this rigid persona, allowing the more authentic, untamed aspects of her personality to emerge. This process can be uncomfortable as it challenges ingrained habits and external perceptions, but it is crucial for individuation, the Jungian process of becoming a whole and integrated self. In essence, the destructive aspect of the wild woman is a powerful, transformative force. It is the necessary chaos that clears away all that impedes growth, allowing authenticity, vitality, and true self-expression to flourish. It ensures that stagnant situations are broken open, false selves are shed, and the path is cleared for genuine psychological renewal and the emergence of a more complete and empowered woman. For all its healing and transformative power, the wild woman within archetype also possesses a shadow. In Jungian psychology, the shadow comprises the unconscious aspects of the personality that our conscious ego has repressed or denied because they are deemed unacceptable, dangerous, or contrary to our self-image or societal norms. When the vital energies of the wild woman archetype are suppressed due to societal pressure, cultural expectations, or personal trauma, they don't simply disappear. Instead, they retreat into the unconscious, forming a powerful shadow complex that can manifest in pathological ways and lead to significant psychological consequences. One of the most common psychological consequences of repressing the wild woman is a pervasive sense of apathy, depression, or a general lack of vitality. The spontaneous, life-giving energy of the archetype is cut off from conscious access, leaving a woman feeling drained, uninspired, or emotionally numb. She might experience a sense of being stuck or disconnected from her own desires and instincts, leading to a profound inner emptiness. This is the energy of the wild woman, unexpressed and unlived, turning inward and creating psychic stagnation. Furthermore, the denied energies of the wild woman can manifest in unhealthy and destructive patterns when they are not consciously integrated. For instance, the suppressed instinct for authentic expression might erupt as uncontrolled emotional outbursts, passive-aggressive behaviors, or a tendency towards self-sabotage. The unacknowledged desire for freedom and wildness might lead to destructive relationships, impulsive decisions that undermine long-term well-being, or even addictive behaviors as a desperate attempt to feel alive or escape inner confinement. These pathological manifestations are the wild woman's energies twisted by repression, seeking an outlet through unconscious means, often causing harm to oneself or others. The societal conditioning that discourages women from embracing their instinctual nature often creates a fertile ground for this shadow to take hold. If a woman is taught that her anger is unfeminine, her sexuality is too much, or her adventurous spirit is irresponsible, these aspects of the wild woman go underground. They then operate from the unconscious, influencing behaviors and choices in ways that the conscious ego doesn't understand or control. For example, a woman might struggle with chronic anxiety if her intuition, a core wild woman quality, is constantly dismissed. Or she might attract partners who control her if her desire for autonomy is repressed. Jung's insight here is crucial. Ignoring or denying the wild woman archetype does not make her go away. Instead, she becomes a powerful, unintegrated force within the psyche. This lack of integration can lead to various psychological symptoms, as the self, the totality of the psyche, strives for balance. The shadow of the wild woman demands attention, often through crises or uncomfortable experiences, signaling that vital parts of the self need to be acknowledged, understood, and brought into conscious awareness for healing and wholeness. Therefore, confronting the shadow of the wild woman is an essential step in her unlocking. It requires courage to face the aspects of oneself that have been deemed unacceptable and to understand how their repression has contributed to psychological suffering. By acknowledging and working with these unconscious manifestations, women can reclaim their denied energies, transforming them from destructive forces into powerful allies on the path to individuation and genuine well-being. Having explored the essence of the wild woman, her healing and destructive capacities, and the consequences of her repression, the ultimate question becomes, how does one unlock and integrate this powerful archetype? Carl Jung's analytical psychology offers concrete pathways to consciously engage with the wild woman, moving beyond mere intellectual understanding to a profound lived experience. The goal is not to be consumed by her wildness, but to consciously integrate her wisdom for greater psychological wholeness, balance, and a richer, more authentic life. One of the most direct routes to the unconscious, and thus to the wild woman archetype, is through dreams. Jung considered dreams to be direct messages from the unconscious self, offering insights, warnings, and guidance. Paying attention to dream imagery, especially recurring symbols, animals, wild landscapes, or strong emotional experiences, can reveal how the wild woman is trying to communicate. Keeping a dream journal and actively reflecting on the feelings and symbols present in dreams can provide valuable clues about repressed instincts, unexpressed desires, or areas where one needs to reclaim their authentic power. Dreams often present the wild woman in her rawest form, inviting a conscious dialogue with these primal energies. Another vital avenue for integration is reconnecting with nature. The wild woman is inherently tied to the natural world, its cycles, its untamed beauty, and its raw power. Spending time in natural environments, forests, mountains, oceans, or even a local park, can act as a powerful antidote to the domestication of modern life. It helps to ground the psyche, reconnect with instinctual rhythms, and quiet the noise of the conscious mind. Activities like walking barefoot, observing animals, feeling the elements, or simply being present in a wild space can awaken dormant energies and facilitate a deeper connection to the intuitive wisdom of the wild woman. This physical connection helps to bridge the gap between the civilized self and the primal self. Creative expression serves as a potent conduit for channeling the energies of the wild woman. When she's suppressed, creativity often withers. Conversely, engaging in uninhibited creative acts, be it writing, painting, dancing, singing, crafting, or any form of spontaneous making, allows inner impulses to flow freely without the censorship of the ego. This isn't about producing a perfect outcome, but about the raw process of creation itself, which mirrors the wild woman's fertile and generative nature. It provides a safe space for emotions, instincts, and intuitive insights to emerge and take form, thereby integrating them into conscious experience. Creative outlets allow the wild woman to speak her truth and unleash her vibrant energy. Finally, reclaiming sacred rage is a critical, albeit often challenging aspect of integration. As discussed previously, anger in women is frequently suppressed. However, the wild woman understands that rage, when consciously acknowledged and channeled, is a protective and clarifying force. It is the fire that sets necessary boundaries, asserts self-worth, and burns away injustice or oppressive patterns. Learning to recognize the legitimate roots of one's anger, rather than displacing or repressing it, and expressing it constructively, whether through assertive communication, physical release, or creative outlets, is vital. This sacred rage isn't about violence, but about reclaiming personal power and ensuring that one's instincts for self-preservation and authenticity are honored. The path to integrating the wild woman archetype is a continuous journey of self-discovery and courage. It involves intentionally creating space for the instinctual, intuitive, and untamed aspects of the feminine to be heard, honored, and expressed. By engaging with dreams, communing with nature, embracing creative expression, and honoring sacred rage, women can consciously unlock this powerful archetype, transforming it from a repressed shadow into a vital source of healing, wisdom, and profound psychological wholeness. Ready to unleash your inner wild woman, the journey to integrating your authentic, untamed self is powerful and deeply rewarding. What's one small step you'll take this week to reconnect with your instincts or express your true self? Share your commitment in the comments below.